In this video we're going to go over the lore of a few of my favourite heretics, all formerly with the church who have fallen. The sorcerers made from a sliver of a fallen angel, pit locusts, lesser angels possibly that pledged their allegiance to hell, and saints who fell from grace. So welcome back to the trenches and let's begin. Atop tall towers, clawing against the black sky of hell, the sorcerers of the court of the seven-headed serpent perform rituals and spells to advance the schemes and machinations of their lords. They mediate in their scrying chambers, and the eerie sound of their insane chanting echoes throughout their lord's fiefdom. It is their ululating cries that summon their lord's warbands to battle. A mighty devil lord might have thousands of sorcerers under their command. Each is formed from a tiny sliver of a fallen angel that's scattered after being cast out of heaven. Not truly dead or alive, they exist at the exact moment when their original divine life ended. They are husks left over from heaven. They've lost all the original seraphic gifts their original form once had, but thanks to their celestial origins, no matter how fallen and diminished, they possess the potential for channeling great power, acting as conduits of magic. Now, I've got a little theory on this. My theory is that the followers of the court of the seven-headed serpent and the followers of the morning star in general, and the followers of the creator or god, whatever name you want to give him within the Trench Crusade lore, both get their power from the same source. So they both use goetic magic, and the source of that power in both cases is the suffering and pain of people, whether you're followers of either side. So that's my theory, and that could play a little into this, where we have the sorcerer being able to still channel this magic after losing all their other angelic abilities, because that ability is still within them, within their DNA almost, you could say. Whether it's serving either side, it would still remain there. Anyway, on with the video. The sorcerers study their secret spells of destruction and manipulation from ancient tablets found atop many peaked and unsettling mountains of hell. Just as the Creator gave his laws atop of the holy mountain, so does hell provide its power to its dark arts from pinnacles of hell. And that line about the Creator giving his laws from atop a holy mountain is a reference to something from the Bible. It would be Moses and the 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments given to Moses by God to basically tell humanity how to live their lives. And you see that a lot in the Trench Crusade lore, where basically something that God has done is echoed by hell, and that seems to hold some sort of power. The inversion of doing what God did at particular moments. To find the tablets, the sorcerers use blind augurs and soothsayers who wandered too far to seek enlightenment and found the lovely gift of damnation instead. After listening to the clues of their diviners, sorcerers study the ancient lore and the ever-shifting maps of hell that fills their blasphemous libraries. When the time and place is discerned, a great expedition is mounted to discover one of these priceless tablets. It may take decades or centuries or even millennia to find the tablet, for time in hell flows in uneven waves, shifting back and forth, and the wilds of hell are ever-changing and filled with many strange and deadly creatures. So a few bits to follow up on there. The ever-shifting maps of hell fits with the wider lore, where there are lots of elements from literary and mythological history, such as Dante's Inferno and the 9 layers of hell, and a city called Dis and a place called Pandemonium, which is from Paradise Lost. There is also a reference to the 5 great rivers of hell in the Trench Crusade lore, which is echoed in the 5 rivers of their version of hell within Greek mythology. Pandemonium I've seen referred to in wider Dungeons & Dragons lore, and is a place that changes and shifts. Though not sure where the original inspiration for that idea comes from, it's echoed here with the ever-changing wilds of hell. We also know hell existed before the fallen angels came down into it. There is the Church of Metamorphosis, a group who found a portal to somewhere ancient, and they worship this unnamed entity with ever-changing and evolving bodies. And they're also the hunters of the left-handed path who stalk the wilds of hell like ancient human hunters. They attract the strange creatures of hell and occasionally help the court of the seven-headed serpent. And of course the shifting movements of time reminds me of 40k, where within the webway time moves differently in different parts. The webway is a galaxy-wide transport system that ships and people can travel through to reach places faster. When the expedition reaches the appointed mountain, the sorcerer must climb to the top alone. The mountain's crown is ringed with standing stones that hum with their coiled power, and above the stones a great pillar of smoke hangs like an abscess in the sky, and fell voices whisper from it. The sorcerer enters the ring, praying to his dark masters that he will return with the prized tablet. Then the presence in the smoke judges them. Most are found unworthy, and the tablet melts their body over 7 years, draining its tarnished divinity to enhance the spells inscribed on the tablet for a more worthy sorcerer. That is some harsh judgment, I tell you. In the rare case of when a sorcerer returns with one of these tablets, armies of demon scribes must translate and decipher what it does. Oftentimes results are catastrophic. It is not uncommon for one of the devil lord's keeps and its surrounding fiefdom to be completely annihilated by the power found in these tablets. And it does make me wonder if perhaps one particular tablet could have been used on Earth to wipe out the city of Antioch. Just a passing thought though. But some are successful, and the sorcerer becomes a mighty master of goetic magic of the tablet, their spells powered by the suffering of wretched mortals that court buys from the hell's markers, or acquires as tithe from their mortal followers. Each sorcerer specializes in his school of one of the 7 deadly sins. Sorcerers come in many forms and manipulate their own bodies to better cast the mighty spells they are charged with. Some have many arms, other multiple heads, or countless alterations and terrible improvements. Some self-administered, others by force, based on the whims of the archdevil and their cabal of high sorcerers who lead their goetic strategy. Sorcerers' feet do not touch the ground, a distant echo of their angelic past, but instead float across the battlefields of no man's land, chanting the cruel gospel of hell as they advance. The dark wisdom and cunning makes them equally capable of leading one of the court's warbands, or acting as advisors to one of the nobles of the court as they stride forth into the mortal realms. Now we move on and step a little further into hell with the pit locust. When the court of the 7-headed serpent hunts on earth, a great pall of smoke precedes them, and lo, out of the smoke the baying and buzzing of the pit locusts heralds man's doom. Some tales say they were sealed behind the filth-encrusted bronze gate for eons beyond measure, waiting until the key that opens the bottomless pit were turned in its lock. Others say they are the debased remnants of once proud angels, lesser angels that debase themselves at the sacrificial altars to Baal or Moloch, and gorge themselves on the blood of children offered to the graven images. In their bloodlust they forgot the hidden knowledge of the universe. That was their birthright. They haunted the deep and dark places of the earth until they were called forth by the great battle horns of hell. What is known for sure is that when the gates of hell opened, terrifying swarms of pit locusts appeared. Their delight in tormenting mankind are imbued with feral cunning and wicked bloodlust. In the first battles of the Great War, which saw the Levant overrun in a string of great victories, the locusts were instrumental in scattering the formations of the humans who refused to bend the knee to the nobles of hell. As a reward for their part in the battles, the locusts were granted the right to hunt with the court of the 7-headed serpent and take their share of the spoils and gorge themselves on the vanquished. And now we look at those who damn themselves by delving a little deep, specifically desecrated saints. They are the most prized possessions of the lords of hell, men and women who once were destined to become saints, great prophets or holy ones according to God's plan, but who were led astray and fell from grace. And just mention again that little echo of God's plan when subverted is something that is powerful for the court of the 7-headed serpent. Many of the saints were once righteous rulers or religious leaders dedicated to bringing prosperity and glory to their people, but pride, desperation, or an eagerness to achieve martyrdom led them to commit some unforgivable sin or evil, often for the motives they believed to be good and pure. Some sacrificed living humans, thinking it was what was demanded of them. Others carried on wars after they were commanded to stop, or sought to do miracles through magic. When their needs led to their downfall and death, they were entombed inside unholy reliquaries, only to wake in hell, still encased in the shrine that had now become their prison. Desecrated saints are kept as a symbol of pride by the mighty devil lord who corrupted them. The body of the reliquary is made up of the saints' retina in life, as well as the greatest vanquished foes, which are continually added to it over the eons of its existence. And now we look at those who damn themselves by delving a little deep. Specifically, desecrated saints. They are the most prized possessions of the lords of hell. Men and women who once were destined to become saints, great prophets or holy ones according to God's plan, but who were led astray and fell from grace. And just mention again that little echo of God's plan when subverted is something that is powerful for the court of the seven-headed serpent. Many of the saints were once righteous rulers or religious leaders dedicated to bringing prosperity and glory to their people. But pride, desperation, or an eagerness to achieve martyrdom led them to commit some unforgivable sin or evil, often for the motives they believed to be good and pure. Some sacrificed living humans, thinking it was what was demanded of them. Others carried on wars after they were commanded to stop, or sought to do miracles through magic. When their needs led to their downfall and death, they were entombed inside unholy reliquaries, only to wake in hell, still encased in the shrine that had now become their prison. Desecrated saints are kept as a symbol of pride by the mighty devil lord who corrupted them. The body of the reliquary is made up of the saints' retina in life, as well as the greatest vanquished foes, which are continually added to it over the eons of its existence. The husks of these devout, who swore to follow their holy leaders to death and beyond, form the towering body of this abomination. Their remains, along with their armour and weapons, are tarnished and corrupted and fused together over the long millennia into a walking prison within which the desecrated saint remains conscious in death to witness the never-ending fall and cost of their folly. The accretion of corpses, weapons and relics is a testament to the power of the devil lord that controls it, and there is a fierce competition between the archdevils to see whose desecrated saint displays the greatest splendour and prestige. As this walking blasphemous tabernacle vanquishes champions of God over its eternal existence, it collects their shields and bucklers that hang about its body, a mockery of the Tower of David with its 1,000 bucklers. When the court travels to either make war or hunt, this blasphemous tabernacle often goes with them, both as a terrifying battle standard, but also a potent weapon of war. Due to the deviation of the saint's mission to the service of evil, a dark aura surrounds it. Within this aura, the laws of God are perverted or cease to exist. Down is up, strength is weakness, and the strongest of shields and armour are brittle as glass. According to Israel Travel, the Tower of David is a medieval fortress that is located near the Jaffa Gate, the historical entrance to the Old City, and has been the symbol for the city of Jerusalem for generations. And a buckler is a type of shield and is linked to the tower in a biblical reference. There, a woman's neck is compared to the Tower of David, built for an armoury, whereon there hang 1,000 bucklers, all shields of mighty men. And of course, within the Trench Crusade lore, the city of Jerusalem is where the gate to hell was opened, and so has been, at least as far as we know, mostly destroyed. In battle, the fallen saint wields a variety of once holy weapons and debased relics, bringing the very power of hell on earth, in a way not even the mightiest mortal heretic ever could. And last one I'd like to cover today is the heretic chista. That's how I'm going to pronounce it anyway. From a young age, all heretics are taught that the Creator demands obedience, but there are also brave souls who chafe at the yoke of divine oppression. In their bitter rage, these dauntless ones commit a form of ritual self-termination to spit in the despot's eye, knowing they have not the strength to injure him. Apart from this little rebellion, self-termination is a sin, and sacrificing yourself to the glory of hell is a yet greater affront to the Creator. Some heretics born with a gift of sonorous voice, but little prospects of rising through the ranks, these possess a determination to excel, nevertheless may pursue the dark path of becoming a chorister. Such supplicants go to one of the black altars of heretics, abodes at the bottom of the deep inverted pyramid temples, dedicated to the greatest of archdevils. There they are dressed in the robes of dark devotion, lie on the altar, and hurt themselves to death by carving runes into their very flesh. The more wounds they can suffer before perishing, the more pleasing it is said the offering is. The most devout slice their own throat, trying to cut as deep as they can before their miserable life leaves them. Most such wrenchers go to their doom in the lake of fire, but some are reborn as choristas or choristas, I'm undecided now. After 9 days, their corpses lurch back to their feet and finish their grisly beheading, and lift their severed heads that begin to sing hymns they have learned in the inferno. From their self-inflicted wounds spurts cold blood that forms diabolic symbols and changes to match the words of their unholy chorus. They head towards the front lines, driven by a call no living can hear, and join the heretic warband of their choosing. As their severed heads sing their agonizing hymns, the minds of their enemies are filled with visions from the pits of hell, weakening both the resolve and strength of those fortunate or unfortunate, you could say, enough to hear the dire song of a chorista or chorista. Their names are often the first thing a fresh recruit experiences on the battlefield, as their unholy voice rolls across the trenches, proclaiming a never-ending prophecy of the final victory of hell over heaven. The great military hospice of New Antioch has a separate wing for those who had never recovered from hearing the chorista's dirge, their minds forever lost in the visions of eternal damnation, tied to their iron-framed beds, screaming of the world to come when all is covered under darkness, lit only by eternal flames. So, yeah, it's pretty dark, that last one. But anyway, drop me a comment down below to let me think of this wider lore. Let me know if you enjoyed the little references to other bits of lore from both Trench Crusade and 40k. And if you like this video on the Trench Crusade, then, my friend, you're in for a little treat. Why not try this one?